So this week we're progressing into new areas of the planning process, the business improvement for BIZ GEAR, which is good. It's in line with the original project program that we put together before we started on this project with the client. So we're on track in terms of holding ourselves accountable, and they are also progressing through the different steps that we agreed from the beginning, which is good because we're seeing results and we're seeing things improve in the business. But today we're finally at a point now, after a bit of juggling with staffing, which seems to be moving in the right direction now. But we're at a point where we're pretty clear on what the organisational structure should look like, what the structure of the roles, what roles should be responsible for which different things within the business. At least for the short term, there's not too much, and the good thing is there's not a lot of difference between what we've got right now set up for the short term versus what the longer term is. And the longer term is really about transitioning the running and management responsibilities of the ultimate running and management responsibilities of the business from the business owner to one of his sons and to the senior management team that we have there. So the roles, as we've got them defined now, we're pretty comfortable that they look right. So we're now moving in, and today I started on getting into defining what goes into those roles. So what are the tasks that each position in the org structure is going to be performing? What are the critical outcomes that we need from each one of those roles? And that's really important to get right, because ultimately, if you look at the business overall, the business has a long list of critical outcomes that it needs to deliver across each department or function within the business. And the idea with the org chart and the role descriptions is that we're taking those business functions and the outcomes from those functions, and we're assigning them to roles, and the individuals who fulfill those roles are going to deliver those outcomes. And if they do all of those things well, by default, the business ends up achieving its critical outcomes. So defining the org structure and defining what goes into each role and the outcomes that each person who performs each role, defining what those outcomes are, is really important. And there's a bit of an art to it, but if you get it right, it means that you're setting the business up to succeed. And so many small businesses just have no clarity around what their org chart should look like, what the roles should look like, which role's responsible for what. And you hear all kinds of excuses for not having it. And probably the worst one that I hear is, oh, well, then if we define everybody's role, then people are going to start saying, oh, well, that's not my job. That is a rubbish excuse. You're going to be in a much better position to have clarity around what's expected from every key role than you are to have ambiguity around and have everybody responsible for everything in the business. So, and I know this firsthand from experience. I've seen many times over the years where it just does not work, and you end up not being able to bring any accountability to any part of the business. So getting those roles right, big step in the right direction for any business. And the other good thing about that is, once we've defined what those roles should look like, within that we're identifying what the different tasks are that are being performed by the role, which makes it much easier for us to identify the processes that need to be followed as they're performing the tasks. Because key to success in your day-to-day operations is people are performing the right tasks the right way to produce the right outcomes within their role. And if you've got those outcomes defined properly, as I just mentioned, the business is then going to achieve all of its critical outcomes. So there's a lot of work involved in defining all of this, but once you've done it, your business will be better than it's ever been. It is absolutely worth the effort. And yeah, it takes some effort and it's tedious, but the rewards are very much worthwhile. So we're starting to get really deep into the nitty-gritty of that. I've already got one person in the business who was pretty keen to get in and define his role, and quite happy to look at structuring the processes around that. So that's their admin coordinator. So within his role description, we ended up with, it's about 30 tasks that we've identified so far that are part of his day-to-day, week-to-week role. And he's been chipping away at building out the procedures around how to do all those things, which we've then been uploading into our software system that we provide for our clients, that then allows the procedures, the roles to be tied together and the tasks to all be tied together. But what it also does is it also makes training, and specifically internal training for the skills of internal positions in the business, makes it really easy to do. We made a lot of progress there. He's about 3/4 of the way through defining the processes for his role, which is great. The business owner started today's meeting with, I really want to get everything defined. I want all of the processes documented. I want anybody to be able to walk in here and learn how to do any one of the roles in the business. So he's smart. He gets the value in doing that. But he wasn't aware of how much progress we'd already actually made on that. So he was pretty happy today. I actually got a printout from our admin coordinator of his role tasks, and he's been keeping track as he's been progressing through his list of the different procedures that he's been documenting as we've been progressing through the operational plan, because a lot of the catalyst for that was the business process improvement plan that we've put together and been working on. So business owner was pretty happy with that. So we're making progress there. Our new employee looks to be settling in, and so it's on another note. So we've had that. I've been reporting for the last few weeks on our new warehousing, our logistics coordinator. He seems to be quite happy. He's running around, keeping himself very busy, getting a lot of things done, seems to be learning quickly, and the team seems to be accepting him, and he seems to have found finding his place, his right sort of place within the pecking order of the team. So that's good to see, because he's fulfilling a lot of valuable task processes and outcomes that need to be done in the business that have been distracting quite a few of the other key team members. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. On the sales side of things, for last month, they had another really good outcome. They came in about 30% above what would have been a typical month. What 12 months ago would have been a typical month. So we are seeing some consistency in the improvements in the sales numbers, which is giving me confidence. It's good to see. It's what we want to see, obviously, is growth for the business. And that's quite a significant step up in revenue, but also profitability, because we're adding 30% in revenue without adding any additional costs. So we're just doing that with the existing infrastructure that already exists within the business, and taking up excess capacity to generate that additional revenue. So these are nice numbers. We have a happy business owner for the time being, but I've still got concerns. We've had a couple of good months in a row, which is nice. It's off of the back of some just early stage sales strategies that I've worked with the business owner to introduce. And while they've been successful, we still have this issue with rep number 2. And at the core of the issue is that rep number 1's got about 100 clients. Rep number 2's got about, we went through the list, and we used to think it was 20. We went through the list and looked realistically at who are actually current clients of his. 15. And there is only so much you can do to add value to those existing 15 customers. And when I say add value, you get more sales from while you're adding value, so increase revenue. And so the only proper solution for rep number 2 is to increase the number of customers that he has. But we have had quite a bit of resistance around that. But if you're a sales rep with 15 clients, that it's a full-time job. It takes about 3 days to get around to all 15 clients each month. So we've got one rep who's pretty busy, pretty much flat out with the 100 clients, and who, if she needed more customers, she would just go out there and start introducing herself, because their offer is a good offer. It's something that if you pick the right profile of business to approach, you're going to be doing them a favour by offering them these products and services. So why would you feel any hesitation as a sales rep to want to go and introduce yourself to new customers? Yet with rep number 2, we have somebody it's make or break time, unfortunately, for rep number 2. Hopefully, fortunately. I really don't like it when, I always like to think that we can get people to where we want them to be with a business, for their own sake as well, for their own success, as well as for the business's success. But the approaches we've been taking, even the tools that we've been providing, have been met with a little bit of a negative kind of can't-do attitude as opposed to a can-do attitude. And it's coming to a point, I think, where the business owner is going to have a proper sit-down one-on-one with rep sales rep is meant to win business, sell, find clients. And so, and we want to work with him, and hopefully he will be open to that, and we'll be able to work with him and find some opportunities. But we've been pushing for that for the last several months, and we're not getting the kind of response that you would expect from somebody who had the potential to actually get to where the business needs them to be. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. One way or the other, it has to be brought to a head, and we're just going to try and be as fair and supportive as we can to try and get him there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be his decision, because we're not really asking for anything particularly difficult to be done. It's really just a change of mindset. So we'll see how that pans out. That discussion is likely to happen over the next few weeks, and we'll just see what happens from there. But meanwhile, generally,